Welcome to GFN Gaming. I'm Russ, and in today's video we are going to play Kill Team Operative Deathmatch. Operatives will go head to head in a series of combat scenarios to decide the best operative in all of Kill Team. In each scenario we'll mention the averages, however, as in real Kill Team, luck and chance will also play its part in deciding the victors. Deep in the depths of a hive city, on the lowest level that can still support life, is the last Western-themed saloon still in business. The Gene Stealer's Arms, famous for two things: sipping whiskey so potent Ogrins use it to scrub clean the gussets of their long johns, and the Kill Team Operative Deathmatch Tournament. The tournament consists of 5 rounds. The first 3 are shooting rounds at varying ranges, and the 4th is a melee round. The 5th and final round, the Operatives Duel. The rules for each round are as follows. We start with the first round, long range. Operatives perform a shoot action or any other 1 AP ability that equates to a shooting action as long as it is within range of the target. And operatives score victory points for completing the following objectives. Operatives score 1 victory point for injuring their target, so bringing it below half wounds, and operatives score 1 victory point for incapacitating their target, so there's a total of 2 victory points. Some operatives will not be able to compete in this section. We then move to short range, which is the same as long range, however targets are moved to be within 6 inches or pistol range. As with long range, operatives score 1 victory point for injuring their target and 1 victory point for incapacitating their target. Then, to accommodate close range shooting, we move to the close range round, which is the same as the previous 2 shooting rounds, however range is now drawn at 3 inches away. As in the previous 2 rounds, operatives score 1 victory point for injuring their target and 1 victory point for incapacitating their target for a total of 2 victory points. With the shooting out of the way, we then move into melee. Round 4 is melee combat. Operatives perform a fight action as if they have just completed a charge action, so this allows for any rules that operatives may gain from charging. This has to be a fight action, so abilities that allow operatives to use ranged weapon profiles in combat are allowed, but shooting into combat would not be. Operatives gain 1 victory point for injuring their target and another victory point for incapacitating their target. Operatives also have the possibility of losing victory points in melee though, and can lose 1 victory point for becoming injured and 1 victory point for being incapacitated. Those are the first 4 rounds, in which luck will of course play its part. Their targets in this competition will be the regulars to Eugene's fine establishment, some orc boys. It's a very metropolitan hive city. After the friendly competition is over, the duel will begin. In the duel, we play 4 turning points of Kill Team. Each operative will get 1 command point at the start of each round as normal to spend within the strategy phase on strategic ploys if they wish, or they can be saved for tactical ploys during play. Operatives will start 12 inches apart with light terrain between them to simulate a combat situation. Operatives can choose which conceal or engage they were in prior to the game starting and then change as if it's turn 2. No equipment is allowed, faction rules and operative bonuses play as normal, and the game ends at any turning point at which at least 1 operative was incapacitated. To get victory points, you must score the following objectives. If you incapacitate your opponent in turn 1 or turn 2, you get 2 victory points. If you incapacitate your opponent in turns 3 or 4, you get 1 victory point. If you inflict an injury, so bringing your opponent to less than half wounds, you gain 1 victory point. And at the end of the battle, if you leave with full wounds remaining, you get an additional 1 victory point. Those are the rules in this first iteration of Kill Team Operative Deathmatch. I'm sure they'll evolve, and facing off in today's game will be 2 gun-slanging killers, Eugene the Kelermorph and the Corsair's Starstorm Duelist. Let's move into the first round, long range. So the Starstorm Duelist will not get to compete in this round, so it's a freebie for the Kelermorph. Long range for the Kelermorph, 4 dice hitting on 4s and gets 2 hits, which is the average, a little above with the crit, and with rending that bumps it up to 2 crits. It's P1, so the orc has a 5+ save on 2 dice now. It's a well above average roll for the orc, getting a save and a crit, so just the 1 crit goes through for 4 damage. Not enough to injure the orc? No points. On average, this attack was only ever likely to inflict about 5 wounds, with about a 14% chance of actually killing the orc. Let's move on to round 2, short range. At short range, both operatives can now compete, the Starstorm Duelist using its Shuriken pistol and the Kelermorph using its short range profile on its Liberator auto stubs. 5 attacks hitting on 2s for the Kelermorph. This is an average of 4 hits out of the 5 and it comes in a little under with 3 hits and no crits. The Orc makes one of its 5-up saves, which is the average, saving 1 hit, leaving 2 going through for 6 damage, not killing the Orc, but injuring it for 1 victory point. The Starstorm Duelist hits twice out of 4 attacks, which is a little below the average, no crits or no rending, but the Orc rolls well below average, getting no saves, so 6 wounds go through, not killing the Orc, but again, injuring it for 1 victory point. This is an underperformance for the Kelermorph, who has a 66% chance of killing the Orc in this attack, dealing on average 11.38 wounds. However, it's an average result for the Duelist, who has only a 20% chance of killing the Orc in this range with an average damage of 6.31 as we go into the close range round. The Starstorm Duelist will be feeling very confident in this round. With its pistol barrage ability, it can fire both its fusion pistol and its shuriken pistol in one go, starting with the Kelermorph. Same profile for the Kelermorph, however, hits all 5 times, getting 1 crit, which becomes 2 crits with rending. The Orc makes 1 save, removing a normal hit, however that's still 14 wounds going through, scoring 2 victory points for the Kelermorph, because the Orc is both injured and incapacitated. Using pistol barrage will mean the Duelist fires with both weapons, starting with the fusion pistol, scores 3 hits out of the 4, which is just above the average of 2.6, and at AP 2 and 5 damage each, the Orc is already dead, but it failed its roll, and it means it takes 15 damage, so it's also 2 victory points for the Duelist, not needing the second shot. In a turnaround, the Kelermorph overperforms its average, dealing 14 wounds, 3 more than its average, and the Duelist at this range is pumping out an average of 19 wounds, with an 80% chance to kill the Orc with the fusion pistol alone. With 3 victory points each, we move into round 4, melee. Not a melee combatant, the Kelermorph just needs to survive and hopefully take as few wounds as possible and keep hold of his victory points. The Kelermorph has 3 attacks in melee, needing 3s to hit, just getting 1, 2 being the rough average, so it's not a good start. However, the Orc misses all of his, so the Kelermorph can deal 3 damage and escape combat unscathed. It's an underperforming combat in general. On the averages, the Kelermorph and the Orc will both be taking around 6 wounds. Let's move on to the Corsair. He can shoot within engagement range, but that's not what this is about. This is melee. The Duelist has 3 attacks with his fists, hitting on 3s. It's an average roll for the Duelist, getting 2 hits out of the 3 attacks, but the Orc rolls hot, getting 1 crit and 2 hits. The Duelist parries and the Orc attacks with the normal, dealing 3 damage, leaving its crit. The Duelist hits for 3 and then takes 4 damage from the crit, leaving the Duelist injured with 1 wound remaining, and that's -1 victory points. This is actually a fairly average result for this combat. The Duelist on average will inflict 4.83 damage, with the Orc inflicting 6.28, injuring the Corsair. And with the Kelermorph having a 3-2 lead, we move into the duel. There's a lot of points up for grabs in this round, and here are the scores as we left round 4, so let's move into it. Currently, the duel starts with both operatives 12 inches away from each other, 6 inches away from the center of the kill zone where there is terrain. As with all games, there is an initiative roll, which is crucial. And the Starstorm Duelist wins the initiative. Both operatives choose to start in conceal, being able to change this upon activation, and the Duelist is looking to finish things quickly, so uses its 1 command point for plunderers to make an immediate dash move. The Kelermorph opts to save the command points in case it needs an armor save reroll. The Starstorm Duelist makes its move and then uses its free Eldari Raider's dash to get within fusion pistol range and fires. Using pistol barrage, the Duelist fires both weapons, starting with the fusion, slightly below average, getting 2 hits. AP 2, but the Kelermorph gets a 4+ invuln, only making 1, but that's what the reroll's for, and he makes a second, so no damage from the fusion goes through. It's not over yet though. Next up is the Shuriken pistol, getting the average 3 hits with 1 crit, and with rending that becomes 2. The Kelermorph saves 1, leaving 2 crits going through for a total of 8 wounds. The Duelist gets 1 victory point for injuring its opponent, but the Kelermorph with 1 wound left gets to shoot back. Moving into engage to get cult ambush, the Kelermorph fires, hitting on 3 nows, gets 4 hits, rerolls the 2 but misses again, and with rending that's 2 crits and 2 hits. P1 leaves the Duelist with 2 dice, getting a crit save, leaving 1 crit and 2 normal attacks going through for 10 damage, killing the Duelist without needing to fire twice. And with that kill, the Kelermorph gets 3 victory points and takes the lead with the final scores 6 to the Kelermorph, 3 to the Starstorm Duelist, which means that Kelermorph walks away from his first Kill Team Operative Deathmatch the winner. So this was a bit of fun, and if it does okay, I might develop the rounds. I'd probably add a multiple enemies round to give an edge to those operatives able to fire multiple times or use blast. So which 2 operatives are next? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video and who you'd like to see face off in Eugene's Underground tournament. A huge thanks to my patrons who help me make this content. You get early access, so if you want to support the channel, please consider doing so there, and I'll see you in the next video.